the passenger is giving you the information. You can't have more than one driver in it. You just have one driver at a time.
Yeah,
but that shit is tight.
Rally is more time, right?
Time based. Yeah. It doesn't because you're actually never going to you're not going to see another car on the rally course because it really couldn't take it. You get into a major accident if that happened. Yeah. So it's all about who can make it from one segment to the other, and then they time each other. I love rally cars, but I've never seen one in person. Formula One, though, it's just the pinnacle of motorsports. Mm-hmm. It literally, the whole reason it was founded was to be like that top level where if you're the champion of Indy or the champion of NASCAR or the champion of Formula 2000 or whatever, of GT, you can earn yourself a spot there and compete against the best. And you have to get like a special Formula One license, a super license. It costs like millions of dollars to get. You have to get sponsors. Mm. I mean, it's a rich man's sport. Like a lot of those other sports, it's really a bunch of rich dudes like with money, throwing money at their toys and watching them go fast. I actually had the pleasure, I run an Airbnb, and a Formula One engineer was staying at our house. So I got to pick his brain behind the scenes and learn a little bit more. And one of the things they did say, he lamented the fact that, as an outsider looking in, it looks like a lot of fun, and you're gung ho about it. But when you're actually in the machine, you realize it's just like everything else. It's soulless capitalism, and it's all about the Skrilla. Mm-hmm. And so that's always disappointing. And that's how the art game is. But you can't let any of that shit dissuade you because if you're really passionate, it's there. You just go with it. You don't have to play that game. You have to play the whole game, but you don't have to partake. You can choose as little or as much of that bullshit that you want to digest. Mm-hmm. So, but Formula One, I think it's amazing. Those guys are going, 200 miles an hour, pulling G forces, on a street level course. I think it's the second most popular sport, soccer being the world's most. So it brings together a lot of people, poor, old, rich, whatever, all different nationalities. So I'm a huge fan. And growing up in a Latino household, it's a lot bigger in South America. Yeah. So that's one of the main reasons. But I had the pleasure of going to a Grand Prix in Indianapolis when I was legit, and then I went up to Canada to go see the Canadian Grand Prix. And when I get more bread, I'm out to like Montenegro or something like that.
It's interesting because my short-term goal was to be an agent, but like my long-term goal, I want to own. And I forgot the lady's name, but she's like the first black owner to own a NASCAR team. And that's something you don't see in racing, period. You don't really see black owners. I mean, NFL too, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of people don't realize racing is also in the black communities, the Latin communities.
The world's best Formula One driver is black.
Yeah.
I didn't
even know that.
Lewis Hamilton.
I didn't even know that, but like talking about just black owned, Spanish owned, like when I see people like in my community, like as minorities, I'm like that's powerful. I want to do that one day soon. Just to own like a team and stuff like that. You never know. You may get rich and we may be part owners. I'd be down for that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. And one of my favorite segments on the show is top 5. You being an artist, I want to know who's in your top 5 as artists, I guess, of all time. We also talk about music too, as well, like top 5 artists as music. But
okay,
I want to do artists first.
So artists, number 1 probably has to be for me. I'm gonna go Caravaggio. Mm-hmm. Caravaggio, old school painter. He's just hyper realistic. I love his use of colors. He's just a flawless painter that time after time I can always draw inspiration from. Number 2, jump into more contemporary. There's a guy on the West Coast in San Francisco area. It goes by the name of Barry McGee, and his moniker, his writing name is Twist. Twist, and that dude was one of the first dudes that I ever saw do characters on walls, and he really pushed the limits of what a lot of people thought graffiti was until that point. Mm-hmm. So he's still turning shit up on its head, and he's killing it. I really enjoy his work. Another contemporary pair of artists, they're brothers actually, they're twins, and their name is Os Gêmeos, which is Brazilian Portuguese for twins. So they're based out of Brazil. I think they're out of Sao Paulo. I'm not 100% on that one. they're amazing. I've seen them paint up in Wynwood. I love their characters. They have this really cartoon style that just pops. It's really fun and playful and just reminds me that art is supposed to be fun. You shouldn't really take it too seriously. Obviously, shout out to my man Crave. Put me on, just a hometown favorite. He's one of the most influential guys in my life. And then to round it out, man, it's tough. It's always tough to choose some people. But I'm gonna go with another local artist. Purvis Young. I was blanking on it. Purvis Young is an artist who was based out of Overtown, and he was a folk artist, and he was really well known for picking up trash off the side of the street and then painting on it. And he was a really eccentric, crazy dude, but I really dug his style, and I thought he was really influential, and he's someone that more people should know about, especially coming from Miami. The fact that he was, people with millions bought his artwork, but he still lived like in a trap in Overtown. It blows my mind. Someone that if people don't know, Purvis Young, you got to look into him. He's a crazy dude. He was a crazy dude, but he was really a true artist. And then as far as musicians, number one, hands down, Curtis Mayfield, 100%. Number two, Isley Brothers, because I'm a big proponent of like going back to people who inspired the music that I really grew up on. Outkast,
of course.
They were literally the first hip-hop album I ever bought. I was like 7 or 8, and Aquemini came out, and I was in Target with my mom. We were passing by the section. I saw the big explicit, parental advisory, so I shoved it into the bottom of the cart. They checked it out. As soon as the lady checked it, I grabbed it, I put it in my back pocket. I ran home. I opened it up. Maybe it wasn't Aquemini. Maybe it would have been like the greatest hits, but I just remember when I opened up the CD case, you got to Google this. Is hilarious. So Andre 3000, right? Andre 3 Stacks, he's an artist too. So he draws, and he drew this like naked broad with like this huge double D like breasts hanging out and like some pubic hair like flowing in the wind, and she had clown face. And I was so like mesmerized and horrified at the same time, being like a little kid. Like, I opened it, I closed it, like, you know what I mean? Like I had it in like my sock drawer for a week before I bumped it for the first time. And once I did, it was magic. Then jump into some new shit. Obviously, I love my homies Skunk Ape Gang.
Shout out to them. Still looking for an interview for y'all. It's like 800 y'all. But
yeah, for real.
It's dope. They dope, though.
So those guys, I grew up with them. Love them. Another homie I had the pleasure, actually went to high school with him briefly before I graduated. I think he switched schools too. Is Denzel Curry. I really like that dude.
You went to school?
I went to back. We were in 5,000 Role Models together, and one of my favorite memories. If that dude ever hears this, he's gonna laugh. I just remember we're on our way to the circus. And we were all in the back of the school bus, and we're freefing. And I swear he was like a copy of like Busta Rhymes, like just like his flow at the time. He was just like staccato, just hitting it. Just straight fire, and I'm always been weak. I'll never claim to be at all proficient at freestyling or anything to do with emceeing, but it was just a pleasure to free it with him and to have a classic cipher. And I wish that kid the best. He was always a great homie. It's great to see him doing well. I still bump his music to this day.
Y'all still like have conversations?
No, last time I heard from him was actually he did like a appearance with Skunk Ape, and like we ran into each other very briefly. This was years ago. I have honestly not kicked it with him in a long time, and we weren't like homies by any means, but we knew each other, and we was cool. We dapped up. We did, because he was a few years younger than me, so I don't remember if he was a freshman when I was a senior or if he was a sophomore. But we were in 5,000 Role Models together, and the school we went to was really small, so it wasn't that many people in that group. And I did the whole 4 years, so I get the scholarship. We went up to Tallahassee or whatever, so that's how I ended up chilling with him more often than not.
That's what's up. Well, I ain't meant to ask you, what high school did you go to?
Dash Design and Architecture Senior High.
I heard about that,
It's a great public school. Any youngins listening should definitely apply. If you don't know anything about art, come to El Fresco, look us up. We'd be more than happy to have you in our workshops. So, always down to educate the youth.
Free promotion.
Yeah. So you can find us at craveart.com. You can follow us at craveart on Instagram. Our other website is El Fresco Miami, ELFRESCO Miami.com. Also at El Fresco Miami for Instagram. But one of the things that we're getting ready to do is a new promotion with Path, Preserving, Archiving, Teaching Hip Hop. You can find them at pathtohiphop.org. They're getting ready to do a summer academy at the Arch Center. It's application only, so if you're a DJ or MC or writer, you're b-boy, b-girl, you got to go online, you got to make a video of yourself, and then you come in and you actually audition in front of a panel of world-renowned judges, some of the best in the industry, and they will teach you everything from how to market your skill, how to obviously learn the skill better, how to craft how to hone your craft. But most importantly, we have a network and a community of people who are hip-hop heads that want to see the culture thrive, that we're like-minded individuals, and we look out for each other. So, hit us up. We love to have you. We do private tours. We teach graffiti classes. We do workshops. Like I said in the beginning of the interview, anything that has to do with art, you need a logo, you need a website, you want a portrait of yourself, just come and chill with us. We're happy to teach you. We're happy to help you. That's what we do.
That's what's up. And before I close out the podcast, I always ask all my guests on the show is where you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
My next move, I'd like to get a JD. I would love to have a law degree underneath my belt, maybe even do a dual JD MBA. Because again, we talked about how important knowledge is, and it transcends everything. But ideally, I'd like to be probably setting down some roots, getting ready to have a family. I only see El Fresco growing. I only see my personal studio practice growing. But I would definitely like to have my bona fide consultancy agency firm set up. People can contact me. Hopefully educating, maybe a side gig, teaching at one of the universities, or even just continue like this. But most likely, school. And then I really want to focus on the family. I think that's really important to me.
Yeah.
I think it's selfish, right? Anyone who wants to talk about having a family is just another version of you. But that's probably realistically in 5 to 10 years where I see myself staying here in Miami, getting that knowledge, continuing El Fresco, continuing working with Path, continuing building my own self. And hopefully you'll see, Christopher Labora, LLC, artists all in one consultancy firm.
It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen, man.
Advise and create and uplift.
Yeah, man, it's going to happen, man. It's definitely going to happen. You're on the right track, man.
Appreciate that.
Any shout-out? I already know you shout-out, but, any shout-outs before we close up?
Man, just want to give thanks. Shout out to my girl. Shout out to my family. Give thanks to the higher beings that are. I'm all about the spirituality tips. So, that's pretty much it. I mean, everyone out there that's doing it, this is for y'all. I appreciate anyone who supports us. I appreciate anyone who's tuning in. And again, to those young kids who just want to know what's good, this is for y'all. So, reach out. Us older cats, we're here to help. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, man, it's been a pleasure.
Episode 29, we're going to have part 2s and 3s and 4s. I always joke around with my guests, but I be dead shit at the same time. Like, when you blow up, make sure that I'm to be like the video, whatever you call it.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld said it best. This is another one for everyone who blows up and remembers me too. Never get too big to not use your homies. You always got to use your homies. So don't ever get too big that you forget where you came from. And everyone has to do their own thing and everyone has their own journeys. But that doesn't mean you can't make time for a postcard or a text message or show up to a barbecue. Yeah. It's the thought that counts. And remember, showing up 90% of it.
Exactly, man. Yeah, man. This be your boy DJ Anonymous with Sports Biz Music, the podcast with Christopher.
Labora! Oye, man, Labora!
This been episode 29. Don't forget that the podcast is on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Audio Boom, everywhere soon. I'm gonna be, accepting ads. If you have like a company or whatever, send me some ads to say over the podcast to sportsbizmusic@gmail.com. And this been episode 29, and we up.